I'm definitely ready. Let's get it.
You know what? I want to start off by saying many are called, but few are chosen. I thank everybody for coming in the chat. I am ready. And you are live with Sheeba. We had a great lineup today. But once you start talking about mental health in men, you will see people scramble. This is the thing that we were talking about earlier, how these things need to be addressed. And so it's me and you today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is
Absolutely.
me and you today, and I am all for it. Thank everybody for joining in. Like I said, I am ready. I want to start today off with this affirmation. I honor myself, every vision that God gives me, my territory in abundance, and it's enlarged and it flows directly to me. It's connected to me and it loves me because the spirit can trust me with it. We are still in support of Men's Mental Health Month. Happy belated Father's Day to you, and happy belated fathers to everyone that is in the chat. And happy belated Juneteenth.
Happy belated
1865.
Yeah.
Like, let's ponder that. Let's sit with that, right? I can envision in that time, like when they got the message that they were free, the next question is, what are we going to do now? After all of this time, what are we going to do now? Just want to, I want to give thanks for the many sacrifices that were made for us to be able to sit in this moment and be as free as possible that we can right now with everything that is going on in the world. I also want to set an intention. There are so many young men and women across the globe every single day. They have to put on this face, fuck with me and find out.
Yeah.
But the intention here today is you're finally free. Want to manifest. I have the chance to sit with my brother, my friend, my Brody, and
absolutely.
champagne, dirty wine glass. I'm so happy to have you in the building. How are you?
It's definitely a pleasure. You know, it's been a long time coming. Excuse me, a long time coming.
Right.
But, you know, I remember growing up and, you know, wanting to work with you and your dad with everything y'all had going on, you know, with the music, you know, and him bringing me around,
Right.
you know, and just showing me, you know, he was the first one that really kind of started showing me the ropes of the music, you know, and kind of, you know, really showing me like how this really goes. I'm thinking that it's just about rapping and just getting into the industry. I'm like, oh, you know, I don't really want to know all this and that. You know, I just want to, you know, I just want to write music and rap it. That's all I want to do. But he was bringing me around and, you know, showing me how he, you know, was doing with you and and your brothers and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them.
Right.
And definitely shout out to Pops. I'm doing good though. You know, working all the time and working all the time, like I said, and you know, working on my music, different things of that nature, you know.
Right.
And I'm doing good though, taking care of the kids, doing how I do.
Yes. Well, like I said, I am so happy to have you. You were in a part of my life when I was really in the music industry and I was really going full force. And, you know, my dad was dating your mother-in-law. And that's how we crossed paths. But last night I woke up about 11 o'clock p.m. I'm here in Bali. So I woke up and I seen the whole hood going up on the stage. Kendrick Lamar had the Bloods and the Crips, you know what I'm saying, on the stage. And so when I got up this morning, I knew that what I was doing was in alignment to what's going on in the universe right now. It's that we are all coming together from both sides and really looking at this big picture and seeing, you know, what role we play in this big, big thing that's going on right here. So I was so proud coming from, you know, that era of gangster rap, coming from that era of grind and hustle and trying to make it. it was more, it was bigger than that. And
Yeah.
so I was just so happy to be able to witness that. And I know a lot of men, as we are talking about Men's Mental Health Month,
Yeah.
and we are in support of it, a lot of men just felt like, man, we are finally understanding and we're finally getting little by little what
Yeah.
we were sent here to do on this planet.
Yeah.
I always go with the thought, like, I don't care. We need gangsters, you know,
Yeah.
because I don't feel like everybody came here to be an angel.
Right.
I feel like there are some people sitting here to be on the front line.
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that too, because I remember being like maybe 18, 19 years
Mm-hmm.
old, and that was at a stage where my mom couldn't really fully understand
Right.
what made me venture off into the gang banging aspect of everything. She definitely felt like she raised me right to the point of I don't have to venture in to that life, and
Right.
it's more so the fact that I told her, hey mom, it could be that people like us are the warriors, people like
Mm-hmm.
us are the ones who supposed to be on the front lines. And my mom, the weapons of God is
Mm-mm.
not carnal. The weapons of God is not carnal, but mighty through the through the Lord, but
Right.
down the stronghold.
Right.
We don't use the weapons,
Right.
son. And I said,
Right.
well, mom, but I said, mom, in the Old Testament they did use weapons.
Right.
They used swords. They wasn't guns, but
Mm-hmm.
swords. It means to protect. It didn't make their faith any
Right.
less, and whatnot. We're talking about the forefathers who we stand on. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their families. The tribes of Judah, and so on and so forth. These are men who definitely had a very strong faith in God, but
Right.
they also had weapons of protection as well,
Right.
And, so me and my mom, we would kind of go through that debate, and whatnot. And I said, well, for me, just the way I feel about it, it's necessary that if you're going to be in the streets, if you're going to be a gangster, thug, whatever, you have to have some faith, some trust in the Lord, because you're gonna need him. You're gonna need him when the weapons don't work.
Right.
You're gonna need him when all the weapons fail and whatnot. You're gonna need him.
Right.
Period.
Right. Right.
So, I think it's about a merge. I think it's okay to have a merge of knowing that you have a faith in the Lord and putting your trust in the Lord more than you putting your trust in anything else. But at the same time, look, I'm strapped too, If anybody come this way, then there's no what's coming to you. There's no what's
I got my piece and my steel.
Yeah. It's
Right.
I told you, I can pray and ask God to forgive me and everything, but if I have to handle what I gotta handle, sometimes it turns out that way, depending on the severity of the situation.
It definitely turns out. And I watch, one of my favorite movies is Braveheart, and there are so many other movies, like that. And I look at these guys and I see how, like you said, they were going to war and they were protecting their loved ones. If you came and tried to take their land, if you came to try to hurt their women, they were in protection mode. And so, looking at it now, it's just like, okay, how do we get to this place where we are changing the narrative? And I know people said, well, what do you have to do with what we got going on? I grew up in it, even being able to sit here and speak on it. So when people ask, what you in the hood business for? I am the hood, but I decided to take that and put it into music and do something with it in music, I think people like me, and there's so many people like me who are visionaries that can't really get caught up in everything that's going on, because God is pulling them to do something else. And like I said, you never know why you are crossing paths with these individuals. Some way along the journey, you're going to be working together, just like you and I, you're going to be working together. And in this moment in time, where we have lost so many brothers, so many sisters, I feel like the ones who are here right now are chosen for this merge, or for this shift. And you have to realize at some point, like, what is the bigger purpose of us being here? If you never asked yourself that question, like, what am I really here to do?
Yeah.
I get up every day, I go to work, I take
Yeah.
care of my kids, like make sure my wife or my husband is good, but what am I really? There has to be
Yeah.
more to the story than, what I'm saying, meets the eye. So I want to know, like, from you, but you talked about your mom at 18, but as a young kid, like, give me 3 words about yourself as a young kid before gangs, before all of that. What are
Yeah.
3 or 2 or 3, words, powerful words about yourself?
I would say, from what I was told,
Mm-hmm.
prophetic.
Okay.
Um, I've always had a gift, so to speak, of being able to see how things are, can make a pretty accurate prediction for what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
And what not on no psychic kind of stuff, but
Right.
based on how I grew up, and whatnot, being raised in the church for the most
Right.
part.
Right.
It was a gift of prophetic,
Right.
and whatnot. So I would say that's one. Another one, artistic.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had an ability to be very artistic with what I was feeling at the moment. I can look at a certain drawing and be able to draw it exactly the way it
Mm-hmm.
was drawn, the way it was drawn out. Always been musically inclined,
Right.
Uh,
Right.
um, what else? I would say, um, writing, also, poetry.
Poetry.
Being, I've been told 1,000 times that I need to be an author, like writing my own book. Which I'm in
Mm.
the process
Look
of.
at all these gifts you
Yeah,
got.
yeah. So, matter of fact, my brother, before he passed, Robert, and you and
Mm.
I both know him, those
Yeah.
steel hands. We was working one day.
Right.
We used to work at a bowling alley, and he told me, he said, "You know what, Blood? You need to write a
Mm.
book." And I, why you say that?
Right.
And I already kind of been hearing that my whole life anyway, and stuff,
Right.
but I
Right.
wanted to hear his perspective on that. And he was like, just because of the way you think, you think real deep about a lot of
Mm.
stuff, man. And you love to talk about what you're thinking about, put everything in the book and put it out there,
Right.
So, yeah, so that, I would say that's another gift and whatnot. And, I would say all the gift of giving, which may not even be looked at as,
Mm.
people,
No,
oh,
it's
okay,
very.
but don't understand the importance, especially in this generation.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a giver. It's never really been hard for me to be a giver. That's
Right.
something
Right.
I've, it's something that I've always been, So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I am so happy for everybody that is coming in the chat. This is your chat as well. If you got some questions that need to be asked, get in the chat and, join us. My name is Sheeba and you are live with Sheeba. And today, like I said, we had a big lineup here. And, but like I said, when we get to talking about trauma
Yeah.
and mental health, in men and women,
Yeah.
hey, people decide, hey, I don't think I'm ready to
Yeah.
address those issues,
Yeah.
and that is fine.
Yeah.
But like I said, we got my brother, Dirty Wine Glass, in the building, and so we are having this conversation about men's mental health. So we talked about you. Oh my God, prophetic. I can't get it out. Prophetic, artistic, and a giver. I mean, those things are so powerful. You
Yeah.
know when when you gonna use these tools, man, to get
Oh, yeah. Well,
get this message out?
I will say, um, the some of these gifts have already kind of been activated, at certain times. But of course, if you ain't really walking the way God wants you to walk, then
Right.
you're gonna be in a hit and miss. Like
Right.
that gift will be. It never goes nowhere because you was born with certain gifts, but you can't activate it whenever you want to. It'll
Right.
just be at certain times the gift is activated, and then at certain times when you really want it to be activated, when you
Mm-hmm.
need it to be, it's not there, because
Right.
it's one of those things where I think you have to really acknowledge the giver of the gifts, you
Right,
know, and
right,
give him, you know, the type of attention that he deserves, and, you know, walk in his way, walk on his path. And then I
right.
thought the gifts that you have inside of you will really splurge and really be
Yeah,
put out there, you know, because it's you fully attached to the giver of the gift. So
right,
the gift
right,
is
right,
just
right.
gonna flow that way. You feel me? So for me, you know, it's certain times where, you know, I'm activating in the gifts that God gave me, and there's other times when I'm not. I ain't living according to His
Mm,
standards. So
right.
yeah, he ain't. You know, he don't play it. You know, he a loving God, but he
Yeah.
also stern. You know,
He will
yeah,
he will knock some
yeah,
he will knock some shit over in your
Yes,
life.
yes,
I'm definitely ready. Let's get it.
And
he
you'll
will. Yeah,
wonder why,
yeah,
why are these things not happening for me? You know, I know for me, even being here in Bali, it took me to really have to get to myself, to really understand, because music was everything in our life. But it took me to get to myself to understand that, like I said, my purpose is so much bigger, and I had to walk alone.
yeah,
And sometimes, like we were talking about earlier, it's like when you got so much noise around you,
yeah,
I remember talking to Hans one time and he was like, man, I'm so tired of putting on this face every day. I
yeah,
got kids. I got,
yeah,
what I'm saying? I got things that I want to do. And
yes,
to
yes,
be able to take that in, I realized that there are so many men who are saying, like, I know that I am something more than this, but I'm
yeah,
afraid that if I step out, that I'm going to be looked at like, man, you weak. Oh, you gonna lead a crew, you gonna lead the homies, and
absolutely,
they miss out on great
yeah,
opportunities because of what somebody else thinks of them. And
yeah,
it's the saddest thing because, like you said, they hold the hood holds so much magic. When they come together, they
yeah,
put some things together. They out in the hood, they getting money, they doing what they doing, but they hold so much magic. And if they only knew that their divine potential was so much greater, um, man, you're talking about black billionaires,
yeah,
you know
yeah,
the artistic, the writers, just can put a community together to raise money. So many different things, that
yeah,
so many different
yeah,
avenues that we can open up, that they can open up just by opening their mouth and
mm,
speaking and saying, hey, we got to do this a different way because this ain't working for us. What is that feeling? You tell me, what is that feeling? Because you grew up with your brother this
yeah,
whole time, and
yeah.
to watch or hear and see that you're not here anymore. What are those emotions? What are those feelings that you go through?
Whew, man. Oh man. You know, speaking in terms of what you were saying, Men's Mental Health Month. First, I just want to even touch bases on the fact that a lot of men don't even know that it's men's mental
Mm,
health month, because
yeah,
the world don't dive in to the aspects of what men really go through. You know, we live in a world where, you know, from generations back is taught to be strong, and, you know,
right,
you have to be, you know, you be a man, you know, and
right,
stand, you know, that it's almost as if we've been treated like we're robots, you know,
mm,
and whatnot, and not human,
right,
you know.
right,
Being a human, yeah, you know, we do understand that some of the characteristics of a male is to be on the front line and be
right,
strong. We definitely understand that, but we have our weak moments too. We
mm,
have our weak points
mm,
where traumatic events happen, and it shapes,
right,
you know, even biblically speaking, men who went through traumatic experiences was given 30 days of mourning, you know,
right,
30 days to shut himself away from the world, responsibilities, and whatever he had to do, and just cry it out, mourn, cry out, do whatever you need to do. But 30 days later, get back on the, you know,
right,
get
right.
back to the feet and do what you need to do, you know. So getting back to what you were saying with Robert Lil Hands, when that
Mm-hmm.
happened, it it really turned my whole world upside down
Upside down.
completely.
Yeah.
I'm talking,
Mm-hmm.
when I say completely, I mean completely. I wouldn't sometimes I wouldn't even go to the cemetery during the day. I went at
Right.
night when the cemetery would be closed.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, you know, at certain times I'll still go at night, you know, where I felt like he was there. Like
Right.
I felt like at night I was able to commune with him a little better. And people,
Right.
of course, people
Right.
say, hey, watch out for that
They
stuff.
scary moves.
Don't play with that kind of stuff, you know.
Right.
But losing him really made me feel like I lost a big part of myself. I wear him on my necklace. Everybody always see me, you know, this was a birthday gift and whatnot. And, you know, it was a picture that was taken the last time we actually hugged each other,
right.
you know, and shout out to the, you know, the woman who took the picture, you know, yeah, she would come around with her camera and do what, you know, she would do. And she took the picture and this was a gift given to me on my birthday, you know, put on a necklace.
Right.
And, yeah, it was a very serious, traumatic point in my life because I've never lost someone that close to me, right. You know, at an at an age where I'm thinking that everything was going all right for me, you
right.
know.
I
had first dropped my first album. You know, I've always wanted to know what it was like to make an album, you know, but I just didn't know how. Like I said, I just wrote music, and you know, I would rap the music, but as far as putting together albums and how to do the logistics of everything, I didn't know. Yeah, you know. So when I dropped that album, Lil Hands was my biggest supporter, the biggest. I'm talking. Nobody wanted to. If he was around and somebody wanted to even, you know, get the CD for free, like, come on, man, I ain't about to pay for that CD, man. Let me get it. Blah, blah. How you think my brother's supposed to eat? He ain't about to
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, yeah, he was just the it was like the yin and the yang. You know what I'm saying? We you know, we was glued to the hip for sure. You know, so when you lose someone like that, now you have to begin to wonder, how do you even move forward? And it was a time when I didn't think I could. I spent hours in the cemetery. Yeah, you know, it was certain parts of me that just didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay right there, sitting right next to his gravesite. I didn't want to go nowhere. You know, I had moments where I would lash out, you know, at loved ones, you know, they understood what I would be going through. I would, you know, distance myself from everybody. I was isolated, you know. I definitely started drinking way more heavy, you know, from waking up in the morning and I'm drinking, going to sleep drinking, you know. Didn't really care too much about, you know, if I popped a pill here, popped a pill there with drinking and on top. People, man, you're going to end up dying doing that, man. I don't give a damn as long as I get to be with my brother again. That's all that matters. You know, it's my hope and my zeal for life went down tremendously. You know, it went down in a major way. You know, even at moments when I would laugh and smile, the depression would kick in because I could be laughing and joking and smiling with my kids, and then all of a sudden, here come the thought that your brother ain't here no more. You know,
Any place.
What is there to laugh about? What is there to smile about? You know, I began to get in trouble legally. You know, I didn't, you know, as far as the aspect of revenge, you know, certain things that I can't speak on. I can't dive in on and whatnot, but my life began, I could feel myself inside of a black hole that I was sinking, you know, and whatnot, you know. Yeah, I really felt like I didn't. The thing about it was that I got comfortable in the hole. You know, I began to not just be in the hole, but sit in the hole, like to where I sat down and just I was comfortable. I didn't, you know, as long as I still could feel the comfort of the anger, the comfort of the hatred, you know, the comfort of the depression, the comfort of, you know, whatever dark spirit, whatever dark place that I was in, it got comfortable to me, you know, and yeah, it could only be through the grace of God. Over time, I didn't understand what people were saying through, you know, in the beginning of, give it time, you know, give it time. Everything's gonna be okay. Time, you know, you're never gonna get over it, but you know, time is gonna. You're not gonna always feel like this.
It'll ease up a little.
Yeah, the pain, the hurt, the depression. the anger was at a 10, you know, at one point. And over time, you know, just realizing that there was more to live for than just myself and my feelings. You know, my kids, my you know, right, you know, my kids, and I started seeing that, okay, I'm way more needed now because they started doing things that they ain't got no business doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, hold on.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? If I allow myself to slip like this, and you know, shout out to my kids because they really helped me through it a lot. They would see moments where I was alone crying, and they'll come and they'll do the group hug thing. Hey, come on, everybody, dad's crying, dad's crying.
Your biggest support.
And I'm trying to be the man about it. I'm trying to be, man, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got to do all that. You know, but
Tasha
hey,
in the chat,
know that.
She says, the dark hole is a place of learning. I didn't understand that at first. And all things in life have a purpose. You know, and that is definitely true. And I appreciate you, like I said, for sharing those emotions and feelings, because it's not easy for women. Well, we are emotional. So a lot of, you know, we share all of our feelings. But for a man to get that out of you, you know, I know that a lot of people have been in that place. I myself have been in that dark place. So I know what it feels like. You can either go left or you can even go right. But that's the thing, is that dark place, it feels like, you know, you personally have a personal death with your old self, and then you become, you know, this person that you're really supposed to be. You know, and you like you said, you see that, you know what, wait, maybe, you know, this passing is bringing me. So maybe he made a sacrifice for you. You know, he knew what he was coming here to do. So you can know your full potential, you know, and it's hard to look at in that moment. When I think about my dad and, you know, how close we is and how I was like, why would you do that to me? Like, you know, but I realized that it was a sacrifice in order for me to understand why I'm really here. And so, like you said, in that dark hole, you just like, give me a drink, give me something, you know, to numb that pain. But when you get to that, it's like a light comes on. This is what you're here to do, you know. And I see you, and you touched on your kids a little bit. One thing I know about a gangster, I don't know what it is, because I see, you know, and not all, I'm not saying all, but they love their kids. They are in their kids. They are at the football games. They are on the track, no matter what's going on. I got to get to my kids. I don't want to say what makes that, because there's a lot of men who walk away from their children. And I don't know what kind of heart they have, but I know what kind of heart a gangster got.
I will say it's more so for me, and I even told my kids this, and we all get, our bond is so thick. It's so, my bond with my kids is so well put together that we could even laugh about things that you would think that shit ain't funny, you know what I'm saying? You know? But I told him, I said, you know, when I first realized that you know, the mom was going to be pregnant with y'all, I wasn't happy, you know. More so of the simple fact that I would always look at the external conditions. I would look at what's going on within the relationship itself. I would look at the financial conditions, whatever it was on external, you know, would have me thinking about, man, how in the world is we like what is going to be like bringing them in, man, like, you know. But it would always be as soon as I held my kid, as soon as either that or when I found out, like, you know, if we went to to find out the sex, the ultrasound, you know, if it was that or the first time that, you know, being in the delivery room with them, you know, when they're being born, everything would change immediately, and it would have to be, in my opinion, that in my faithful opinion, I believe it was God that took away all the thoughts, because it's understanding for whether you're a mother or a father to have certain doubts and wondering how is this going to play out when you're
taking care of these kids, right?
You know, and whatnot. So, but as soon as I would hold my child, you know, or like I said, find out, you know, the sex they're going to be, it has changed It all the negative thoughts about how the relationship is going with the mom, or
Right.
the financial situation, or whatever the case, all those thoughts would be wiped out,
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot, because this is mine. And I think in terms of a gangster, we don't know if we're gonna live to see the next day more than anyone else. Our life span is usually cut short sooner
Right.
than, a lot of people. So I think when we're holding our child, when we're taking care of them, when we're rocking our babies to sleep, when we're, changing diapers, whatever it is that we're doing, I think we realize that this is an actual extension of who I am.
Who you
What
are.
I'm holding is really me.
Right.
Who I'm taking care of, who I'm going to watch at these, sport activities. This is mine, and I don't know how much longer I have to be here. And it's about carrying on a legacy, knowing that, okay, the legacy that's being carried on actually came from me. This is my child, and whatnot. I think a lot of that does have, a lot of that has to do with that when you lose and you have to deal with losses, people who done died. Having the child can sometimes, clean up a void. It gives you purpose. Yeah, it gives you something more to live for, than just yourself or just for the set.
Right. That is very beautiful. Like I said, to hear, somebody talk about their kids like that.
Yeah.
I had to pause. You ain't about to make me cry at me.
Yes, I'm definitely ready. Let's get it.